Hey guys, what's up? This is Panzer Dragon, and today we're doing the top 10 best junglers for solo queue as of patch 5.14. And in this patch, Runeglaive got changed a bit, and Elise got a buff where she is basically more powerful than Season 3 Elise. I also just want to rearrange the tier list a bit, since I do feel like my last tier list was a bit off. So just a little rearranging in like the top 10, not necessarily the top 5, that kind of stays the same. And we'll also be including some of my personal item builds on the junglers in this video. But yeah, that's about it, and with all that being said, let's get started. Okay, so Rengar is going to be number 10 because, well, at least he's going to be in this tier list, so Fi's kicked out. Good at making picks onto enemy squishies and one-shotting them, especially if he's really fed, and going that one-shot Rengar build. Although, of course, his ultimate has a long cooldown, that's why we build cooldown reduction on him to make even more picks. And, he is a solo queue type of pick. But the only problem I do have when I ever see him in solo queue, it's that you just can't pick him up and be good at him. You have to, play him a bit or just be good in general. Because, well, if Rengar falls behind and doesn't make use of his ultimate really well, he's really useless. He can't even go tank. He just dives in, gets CC'd, and he has no escape, so he's probably just gonna die. So only good players or Rengar mains should play him, because they know what they're doing. I'm like an average Rengar player, and that's why I don't play him. Next up at number 9 is going to be Shyvana, and they actually nerfed her in 5.13. It wasn't listed until a little bit later because, I don't know, they forgot to put it in the patch notes for some reason. But yeah, basically they nerfed her burnout damage at max rank by 10 damage per second. But besides that, let's talk about Shyvana in general and why she's kind of like number 9. So obviously she's really good with the Save Devour and the Blade of Ruin King. She has lots of synergy there, and she's really good at clearing the jungle fast. But there's several things I don't like about her. First off, her ganks suck, so there's no early pressure. And if she does go to Blade of Ruin King after, she's a bit squishy, but obviously, she can 4-shot people. And is really good in that sense, but I do feel like she's a bit squishy since she doesn't really have any health, and she went that path. So she's more of a bruiser and not a main tank. You should have a top lane who is a tank if you want to be playing Shyvana in the jungle. And obviously she gets kited, her late game falls off because, well, she doesn't have any CC. It doesn't matter how much armor or magic resist she gets from her passive, since people probably have Void Staff and Last Whisper at that point. But I do think she's one of the best Devour junglers at the moment. Next up is going to be Gragas. I feel like, he's a bit overrated in solo queue. For competitive, he's fine. And so, yeah man, I just feel like I'd rather pick better junglers than him at the moment for at least solo queue. For instance, I may want to pick Kayle over Gragas at the moment. Building that Sage's Devour into the AP, although the on-hit build on Kayle does have its benefits, but I do feel like this is probably the best build. And yeah, with Nashor's Tooth being buffed along with Rylai's Crystal Scepter, Kayle makes a really strong jungler at the moment, maybe even mid laner too. And I guess the AP ratio buff does help too, so yeah. Cool. Although I do feel like some things I don't like about her is that she doesn't have any escapes in the jungle. She's vulnerable to counter jungling, so if a Nidalee comes into your jungle, you're dead. And yeah, that is one of her problems. But I mean, if she can get to the Save Devour stage and get a bunch of items on her, which is hard to do, then she's going to be in a good spot. Especially if she can get to that late game build. That's so good. And next up, we're going to have Lee Sin. I say this every tier list. If you're a good Lee Sin, no, not good. A really good Lee Sin, then play him. If you're average or, above average, then don't play him. Because he honestly takes a lot of skill to play. I don't even play him. He's not in my champion pool for the very reason. But I know he's good, and I see a lot of other players playing him. And I respect him, just like how I respect Rengar mains. But yeah, he just kind of falls off mid-game and late game. But not really if you know what you're kind of doing. Next up is my boy Nunu. So he's all about controlling the other jungler, putting wards in, his jungle, stealing his shit. And yeah, I think that's about it. He's more of a control jungler. He has some decent ganks, but he's more of a support jungler, obviously. And he makes his AD carry super strong in that mid game and late game phase, and also has a lot of peel. But obviously he can't really carry, so if you are thinking about carrying and not relying on your AD carry, maybe try a different champ. If you can rely on a good AD carry or something like that, or even snowball your AD carry lane, then that's a good thing, and you'll probably win the game off that. As long as, say, he doesn't do something stupid like uses escape into the enemy team. And next up after Nunu is going to be Evelynn. So Eve gets a nerf in this patch where her base damage of her Q is reduced by 20 damage at max rank. And I thought for sure this was going to kill her, but I underestimated this change, and you know, she's still actually good. And I'll actually tell you why. So first off, I didn't really see that it actually didn't nerf her early game. She still has 40 damage at level 1, and then 2 points into it, it's like 5 less damage, so it's not a big deal. And also, to make up for the lost damage, all you really need is like 40 AP, which is obviously a lot, but it honestly doesn't matter too much because her early game is still strong. They didn't nerf the damage on that early game, and that's why she's still a good pick. One thing I do have to mention is that the M-Pen build did get nerfed a bit since the Runeglaive change, where on-hit spells aren't converted to magic damage, so your E will be doing full physical damage, you know, instead of half of it being magic damage. The slow buff on her ultimate is like a decent buff, but I don't really care about 10% more slow. Next up, we do have Rek'Sai. So Rek'Sai is higher than Evelynn because Evelynn, you know, did get nerfed, and I feel like if that never came, obviously she would be more higher. But since that nerf came on her face, well, I do feel like Rek'Sai is much stronger than her. Even with that W nerf, like, it didn't really affect her too much. And at number 2 is going to be Nidalee, so, you know, I do feel like it is a Runeglaive meta. So a bunch of junglers who can use the Runeglaive really well excel highly in this game right now. Because Runeglaive is, well, it's a really good item at the moment. And of course, if Nidalee was in the top 5 before the Runeglaive came, then she's just going to get bumped up a hell of a lot. So yeah, she's just really good at the moment, and honestly, I do feel like she could be number 1, but I'm going to have to put Elise here, since she's been reverted back to her Season 3 roots by having that stun at 1.6 seconds. Well, in Season 3 it was 1.5 seconds, but you get the idea. And of course it does turn into 2 seconds at max rank, but you max out W second now. And yeah, it does revolve around that point where you can max out W second now, while still having some great utility. And in this meta where the Runeglaive is really strong, it's only natural that she'd be up here. Even then, I feel like Cinderhulk would still be good on her too. And yeah, she also received other buffs as her Spiderlings now do magic damage instead of physical damage, which makes M-Pen Elise more stronger. Oh yeah, and the AP ratio was like buffed by 0.05, but I still think you shouldn't build full AP Elise because, you know, you're a frontliner, not a mage. And although she is hard to play, I do feel like she's not as hard as say someone like Lee Sin or Nidalee. So she's actually good even in lower elos, not just higher elo. As long as you do know the spell combo, you're good to go. You may have some bad repels, but hey, who cares when you're just one-shotting people with your combo? Well, at least in the early game, and if you're a bit fat, of course. Next up, we're going to be doing some honorable mentions, and first up, we're going to have Fizz. You know, Runeglaive meta, skirmishers, really good on Fizz. Is he a viable jungler? Kind of. But it is hard to say if he's actually, you know, really good in the jungle compared to some of the top 10. But someone I have a personal opinion on and do favor a lot in my games in Challenger will be Diana jungle. She is one of my personal favorites, and right now in the Runeglaive meta, I do feel like she's actually a pretty decent jungler. And personally, I do favor her more than Nunu at the moment, so I do feel like maybe I'd rate her at like number 5, but obviously there will be a bunch of people who do not agree with me, and I kind of agree with myself on saying that because she is more of a mid laner and top laner. She needs AP to do a lot of damage, otherwise if she's in the jungle, she won't have as much as gold as someone in the mid lane or top lane. She also can't gank until she's level 6, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, I really do like playing her, especially if all the other AP junglers are banned. Next up is going to be Pantheon, so damn global ults to kill that bot lane, and just basically camping bot lane to get those double kills, so you farm up, get some damage, and start wrecking squishies. I like to play on full AD and then go tank after some armor penetration. Next up is going to be Hecarim. I haven't played him in a while, but obviously there's probably more better champions at the moment. I do like playing the teleport Smite Hecarim in the jungle though, that's kind of fun, but I will prefer other junglers than him at the moment. And next up we do have Vi. So she's in honorable mentions because, well, she got bumped up a bit because of Elise coming in, but she'd probably be number 11 because, you know, tier list didn't change that much. Hey guys, so thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did enjoy this video, maybe you'll enjoy top 5 best melee laners for solo queue as a patch 5.14. And there won't be any AD carry tier list or top lane because, well, basically only Ryze got nerfed, and, well, I don't think he's good anymore, but that's basically it. And for the AD carry, maybe Miss Fortune's good now, but that'll be for the next patch when something happens or something. And instead, you can check out a guide called Champion Select. Why would you sometimes should feel for a team? Fuck, I don't even know my own guides, whatever. Anyways, check that out too, and I'll see you guys next time.